Hi, welcome to Tech in the Car. In this video I'm going to tell you about the Nest Learning Thermostat, what it does, how it works, answer the questions that you have, and show you everything you would ever want to know about it. I'm an expert at smart home technology, so I hope to give you videos on many parts of the smart home, from your heating controls to your Wi-Fi to your smart lights. This should be part of a series of technology in your home. That's what Tech in the Car is about. Let's start with understanding what the Nest Learning Thermostat actually does and what it is. It is a thermostat. It controls your heating and your hot water. I'm going to be looking particularly at the UK version available in the UK and Europe. The Nest Learning Thermostat is a learning thermostat. What makes it different from all the other thermostats is the fact that it learns, understands, and creates a schedule to suit your specific needs. It's not a one schedule fits everyone kind of situation. It's a everybody's different, everyone is special, just like my viewers, and so I'm going to make an effort, it's going to make an effort to make sure that your schedule and your home is suited to you and you in particular. So forget how thermostats work, forget what you know about them, think about it as a bit of technology that you've never encountered before. Take a step back and understand that it's going to look after you if you look after it, and make your home and your life more comfortable, and save you money, and make it more easy, and well, look really cool on the wall as well. Let's have a look at it in more detail. I'll run you through the features, what it all does and how it works. This is the Nest Learning Thermostat. This is the third generation Nest Learning Thermostat. Now first of all, forget about the third generation part, because there's only one generation that you can get. So when people call it the third generation, don't worry, you're not going to accidentally buy a different generation, because only the third generation is made. There is another Nest thermostat called the Nest Thermostat E, but it is not called the Nest Learning Thermostat. So don't get confused by the name. This is the Nest Learning Thermostat. This is the European version. There's two parts to it. There's the actual thermostat itself, and there's this white thing here which is called the heat link. The heat link is what connects to your boiler, connects to your hot water tank. It's what makes it work. This is totally different from the US version of the thermostat, which does not have a heat link, which goes directly on the wall and connects to your heating. So the EU, European version, and the US version are totally different. So do not get confused. The US version will not work in the UK unless you're really, really smart and know what you're doing, and it's just not worth buying. Also know that the heat sensors that are available with the thermostat in the US do not work with the European version. So the European version is totally different. You will have seen as I wave my hand over a clock appear. You probably saw it over my shoulder in the intro as well. This is called Farsight, and this lets your thermostat show you information about what's happening. It might be an analog clock, it might be a digital clock, it might be the weather. I'll show you some of that in a minute. But it's just a nice little cool feature which takes this product to the next level of thoughtfulness and looking after you in your home. Let's have a look and see how this works. So this is a learning thermostat. That's what I told you in the intro. And what that means is you don't program it like a traditional thermostat. You turn it up when you're cold. You can do it on the thermostat like this and it turns orange to let you know it's heating. You can do it with your voice with Google. Hey Google, set the heating to 14 degrees. So you can use your voice, or you can use the app, of course. Now this thermostat is not set up yet with the app. I'm going to show you how to do that as well as setting the whole thing up and giving you a demo. You teach it by turning it up and down, either using the dial or using your voice or using the app. You do that for about a week and it will start to understand and fill out a schedule based on your needs. But that's not all. It also has motion sensors. There's a little line here which might be a bit hard to see, and there are motion sensors there. Far field and near field that can see you up close and see you from far away. And don't worry, they know the difference between a person and an animal, so it's not going to go off and turn on because it sees your dog or cat. So it learns, it understands. You use the app, you use your voice. It will create a schedule based on that, and it takes about a week. So you have to think about it a bit like a baby, a bit like a child. You have to tell it the rules of when you want it off and when you want it on. Otherwise it will do whatever it wants. And you'll get confused and you'll think there's something wrong with it when there isn't. So make sure when you go to bed, you turn it down. When you get up, you turn it up. and you tell it what you want and how you want it to behave. And then it will take that information, combine it with all the other information, and create a schedule to suit your home. And then you'll have the perfect comfortable environment based on that. As you can see on the front of the thermostat here, there's bits of information. There's a temperature. That's the temperature you want it to be, the target temperature. There's a time to that temperature. Here it says 40 minutes. And then there's the actual temperature of the room up here. Don't get confused. The little temperature up here is the temperature it is right now. This is the target temperature you want it to be. The amount of time depends on how it learns. So the Nest Learning Thermostat also understands how your house heats. It understands how long the radiators take to heat up. I don't know if your guys' homes are all like mine, but in most homes they don't heat exactly as efficiently as you'll want them to, unless it's a brand new home. Which means that traditional thermostats that had no idea how big the house was, what its size was, how many people were in it, won't heat your home very efficiently, and you might find your home is too hot or too cold. The Nest Learning Thermostat has something called True Radiant, and True Radiant allows it to understand how long exactly your house takes to heat up and turn on early to get to that temperature, or make sure that your home doesn't overheat. So when it hits 25 on the thermostat, it will be 25 in your home, instead of perhaps before it being 25 when it actually said 23, because your temperature on your existing thermostat wasn't very accurate. So the next thing to remember about this is forget how your old thermostat told the temperature and turn it up and down to what is comfortable for you, and ignore the number. Just think about what's comfortable to you in your home and guide yourself with that, because it's about your comfort, not about the number on the screen. Once you've done that, it will start to understand that itself, and the sensors on the front will see when you leave the house and they'll turn the heating down, and it will know when you're coming home by a combination of using the sensors, other Nest products if you have them, and the location on your phone as well. The result of that will mean your home is never too hot, it's never too cold, it's always just right, like Goldilocks. It's always just perfect, and that saves you money. It makes your home more comfortable, and it's much more convenient as well. So how does this actually connect up to your heating? What's behind the curtain? Let's look. If I take off the display, you'll see there's a mount here. This mount is what connects to the wall. It's what goes on the stand if you're not mounting it on the wall. And the thermostat does need power. Without power, it will tell you, here we go, to use the display you have to attach it to its base. It's got a very small battery. It's not designed to be used without the battery. You need to power it. That power can come through these two connections called T1 and T2, and that can go back to this box here, which is called the heat link, or it can come through a USB which goes up here, and there's a little USB port here, and on the back of the thermostat you'll see there's a USB port if you need to power it separately, but typically when it's connected, this connector here is where the power comes through, and this connects on here to the base, and this is what allows it to power the thermostat. It's also got a spirit level, so you can see exactly how even your thermostat's installed. If we look at the heat link is what connects up European systems. And you'll notice on the heat link there are various connectors. So this is just a demonstration unit, this isn't connected to a heating system. But you'll notice here there's two wires for power. They have mains power, and they would be connected typically to your boiler. And then you have the heating connection here, the hot water connection if you have a system boiler with a hot water tank, open therm, and what open therm is, it's a way for your boiler to either be anywhere between 1% and 99% of power, whereas in the UK most boilers are either on or off, they're either at 0 or 100%, so it's much more efficient, very common in Europe. And then you have your power to the heat link, so you don't need to use this, but there's T1 and T2, and they're connected to T1 and T2 here. And it doesn't matter which way these cables are connected. There's also an earth there which you don't really need, but it's there in case you want to connect it up. Important to know that this should be installed by a professional installer. This is not something which you want to be messing around with yourself. It looks very simple right now, but this is not connected to a boiler. This is not connected to a hot water tank. And the wiring may be incredibly difficult, complicated, disorganized, not labeled, and who knows, it could be a total mess or it could be nice and simple. It really just depends. Most people's old thermostats very, very often we're in terrible condition with the wiring. So you might find that nothing's labelled and you don't know where it goes. So don't take that risk. This is mains power. This will electrocute you if you mess around with it. So do not try that. The heat link sends out 12 volts, however, to the thermostat. So you can't electrocute yourself on that. Not that I would recommend it, of course. The heat link is essentially the switch which runs this whole thing. The thermostat is the brain, the heat link is a switch. It simply turns the heating on and off. It tells the boiler to turn on or it tells it to turn off. It tells the hot water tank to turn on or it tells the hot water tank to turn off. This is a big button. If I press it, it will put the thermostat into manual mode and it will eventually show up on the actual thermostat. That is great if you are testing your boiler works or if you're worried that for any reason your thermostat isn't operating as it should do. However, it's very rare that is necessary unless there is a problem with your actual boiler. When it's in manual mode, all the lights turn on. They're all in green. I don't know if you can see that in this light. When it's off, you only get the green light at the top. And this will go back to its original settings. Like that. Okay, let's get the thermostat set up with the app. So the first thing you do is you need to download the Nest app. Open it up on your phone, click on Add Product, and it will ask you to scan the QR code. Now, this is normally what you would do before you install it, but there we go, you scan it. It saw that very quickly, as you would have seen there. Already installed. Now I need to enter the entry key. To get to the entry key, I hit the screen and it takes us to the menu. I scroll around to the settings. I go around to Nest app and I click on Get Entry Key. It will now search for the entry key. This is connected to the internet already and it's given me 134 OWED. 134 OWED. Tap it and it will now connect to the Nest thermostat. There we go, it tells me it's connected. As you can see by looking at the thermostat screen. Done. And it's now connected. Simple as that. And in a second the screen will go back to the original menu. There we go. This thermostat is connected to an account. Done. Now I can go back here and I can turn the thermostat up and down using the app. I can turn it down to 12 degrees. And it will turn down to 12 degrees. I can turn it up to 30 degrees and it will go to 32 degrees and get very, very hot. And in the app you can see information about the thermostat, where it is, temperature, the humidity, the outside temperature. You can see the schedule, which is a learnt schedule. I didn't program this, remember. Although you can manually set it, that's not the way to use it, that defeats the purpose. I can also see the history. There's no energy history here as this hasn't been used for long enough, but that will tell you when the heating was on and when it was off, how long it was on and off for, when it turned on, and give you lots of other information. And you can also go into the other settings that you would get on the thermostat. So I'm going to show you that on the thermostat now. So you see the screen lighted up with the clock again. This is a big button. Press it and you go into the menu. And you can see the various settings. So mode, heat, off. So you never have to turn the thermostat off. That's how you would do it if you were going to, but it's unnecessary. Eco, which essentially means the thermostat is not heating your home, which always turns on automatically when you're out of the house. And in this case, hot water, because this system is set up to work with the system boiler with hot water. I can then also see the schedule. And the truth is, it's much easier to do this on the phone than do it on the thermostat, but it's there if you want to. I can also see my history, just as you saw on the actual app, but there's nothing there other than telling me the heating has been on. And then I can also go into the more detailed settings. So Home Away Assist is what it's called when your phone uses its location to tell your thermostat if it's in or if it's out. Eco, that's the minimum temperature it will ever go to, so it will mean your home never gets too cold. The safety temperature is a minimum that it will allow the house to get to, or allow the pipes to get to, so it never freezes the pipes. The hot water schedule is here, you can edit, again you can do it in the app exactly the same way. Nest senses all the features I talked about, so auto schedule, the learning, it will tell you how long it's been on for, will let you turn it on and off. Time to temperature is how it understands how your house heats. This is what keeps your home comfortable, like Goldilocks. True radiant, again, works to keep your home comfortable, like Goldilocks. Understanding how your home heats, turning the heating off early so it doesn't overheat. And you can also set it to turn on early only up to a certain number of hours. So some people might have a situation where the heating turns on 4 hours before they wake up and wakes them up because it's trying to get to the temperature you want it to. However, that may disturb you, so you can set it so it's only 1 hour, for example, or off altogether, so you don't ever get disturbed by the heating turning on early to get to the right temperature. Sunblock is a feature where if the sun is shining on the thermostat, it knows it's not the real temperature and it will ignore it. And then the leaf shows you when you're saving money. The Nest Learning Thermostat typically in the UK can save you between 3 and 30% on your bill, which equates to roughly £300 off a £1,400 bill. However, your savings will vary depending on where you live, what your home is like, how many people are in the home, the age of the house, and various other factors. But those are the advanced settings. Display, so this is Farsight, so I can change this to be a digital clock if I want, the weather if I want to, or I can make sure it doesn't work at all and is off. I can adjust the brightness, I can adjust whether it makes a clicking sound you can hear, I can change between the two different temperature types, I can obviously check the date and time is correct, I can change the languages, showing me it's connected to the Nest app. I can change the location because it uses the temperature outside based on your location that you've entered into the thermostat to understand what's going on. Your network settings, you can lock the thermostat if you have children or you wanted to use it for a rental property with a 4-digit PIN, and you can set the minimum and maximum temperatures so you don't get it being turned up and on unnecessarily. The placement where it is in the house, and this is important that you put it in the right place because the way the sensors learn, the way the thermostat learns depends on the room it's in. And your equipment where you can change between heating and hot water and different heating systems. Nest Pro is what an installer is called who fits it, who's registered with Nest. Software version, technical info which tells you about the internet connection, the Wi-Fi strength, legal info of course, and the reset settings. Now it's important to realise that while the thermostat must be powered, so must the heat link be powered, but they do not necessarily connect with each other using wires. T1 and T2, as you've seen here, can be used to transfer data, but the Nest thermostat can use what's called Thread, and it's a wireless connectivity technology, a bit like Bluetooth, and it allows the Nest thermostat and the heat link to communicate over ranges of up to 30 feet without having to use a wire. So it means if your thermostat is not connected directly to the heat link, it will still work. So let's recap its features, what it does and how it works. The Nest Learning Thermostat is a learning thermostat. You teach it by turning up and down either on the thermostat through your app or using your voice with Google, like the one behind me. You probably can't see it, but it's there, I promise you, over my shoulder. It will learn and understand what you want and create a schedule suited to you. It will then use its sensors, it will use your location on your phone, it will put it all together and create a schedule for you and you alone, for your family, for your home, which is specific to your needs. That will save you money, make your home easier to live in because it will be comfortable and it will make your life more convenient. And the benefit of all of that is you're happier and you appreciate your home more. I love all the Google Nest products. I will talk to you in more detail about all of them over coming videos. But I really hope you found that interesting. Please comment and let me know what you think. Please let me know if there's any questions you have and I'll answer them. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, wherever it is. And I'll see you very soon with some more videos on Tech in the Car. Thank you.